Okay, so we want to continue working with our IEEE stuff with our quick recording today. Today we're going to be looking at what does an IEEE reference section look like and how in the world do you figure out how to format those things, okay? So what you should be able to see on your screen here is an example of an actual reference page, right? So in IEEE, if you scroll all the way to the end of your paper or your essay, instead of having a bibliography or a works cited or something like that in formats that you've used in the past, in IEEE it says references. Note that's very similar to APA in how it looks on the top, but it looks a little different. Notice that instead of being in alphabetical order, the sources here are in order in the way you encountered them within the paper. So, and also, instead of having parentheses, we have brackets here. So bracket for source number 1, bracket number 2, and so on. Okay, so this is how it'll look for the end. Okay, now, how on earth do you put the rest of this bibliographic information in order? So that's the second thing I want to show you. So here is the Purdue Online Writing Lab. I tend to use this one a lot. It's easy to find just about everything. And I've gone to the IEEE section, and I've gone to the reference list, right? So in the reference list, it kind of gives you an example of what things should look like. It also gives you a lot of context information here up at the top. For instance, references up to 6 authors. You're going to list all the authors. That's a little bit different than MLA and APA. So, and that's because in IEEE we often have collaborators. We often have groups and teams that are putting together a source, much like you guys will do at the end of the class. So here is what you would do. You would find, what kind of source do I have? Do I have a book? Do I have an online source? Do I have a publication? So you would scroll down until you find your type of source, periodical, book, and then you're probably going to use, most of the time you're going to use this one, right? The website. And you're going to see that always, no matter which one you choose here, they'll give you 2 examples. They'll give you a little introduction, much like a technical writing would work, and then they'll give you a template and then an example. So we're going to use this example here for a website. It's pretty straightforward, right? We have the number in the brackets here. We have the author's last name. We have the page name. So that's the kind of the article title. When you open up a page, what's it called at the top? The website. What is the website? Your information about where to find it. Like the example on here is Gizmodo. Okay, so it's found on the Gizmodo site. And then the actual URL. That's the www, HTTPS, the whole thing. If I really wanted to find it exactly, where do I find it? Notice here it is https gizmodo.com, and then the rest of the information exactly. And then in parentheses, here's your parentheses, the day that you accessed it, right? So because as we all know, the internet changes on a daily, it could even change on an hourly basis. So you want to tell them when you actually accessed it, because it could have changed by the time that you somebody else comes to take a look at that site, or it might not be available, right? But as you probably know as tech people, you can look up cached sites. What did it look like on July 3rd of 2019? You can probably look that up and then see that exact source. All right, so this is how a website will look. The number, author, page, website, URL, and the day you accessed it. Okay, so that's going to be the one you use the most. Perhaps you'll use a periodical. Here's a periodical. And a periodical can be an actual periodical, but in that's a magazine that is produced periodically, right? So it could be a journal of electricians or mechanical engineering journal of some kind. And you might actually have it physically in your hands. That's very possible, although more likely these days is that somebody will have published it both in paper and also online. So there would be both types of sources. So you might have a periodical, right? And then you guys have to figure out do I call this a website or do I call this a journal periodical? Sometimes you have to kind of make sure that you've covered all your bases there. So this is what it would look like if it were an actual paper journal in your hand. Again, you'd have the number, the author, the title, the journal, the volume number, blah, 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 information, and the date you accessed, or the date that it was published, right? Okay, so again, we have all of this stuff up here. Oh, the DOI here, in case you want to know what that is, DOI here, that's the Digital Object Identifier, if there is one available. Sometimes, often there's not. If they have one, this one particular example has one, and that would be here. That's again just a better way to look something up if it happens to be available. If you have no idea what that means, probably it's not available in your journal. Okay, but again, for the most part, you guys are going to be using websites. Okay, so again, I've taken you to the Purdue L Online Writing Lab, OWL. I've gone to the IEEE section, and note they have sections on so many types of styles that you probably haven't even heard about. AMA, ASA, Chicago style. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you probably haven't learned yet, or may never need to learn, depending on your major. But this is the IEEE section. Very good. And I've taken you to the reference list. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Next, we will talk about, probably tables of figures. Or maybe abstract. We'll see. Whatever, something else IEEE. Have a great day.